Fans in Bryant-Denny Stadium booed Conor Talty after he missed a 28-yard field goal, and his teammates are going to bat for him in the media. One player went as far to say that fans are classless for booing Talty. We'll react to this and dive into what head coach Dbor had to say about Talty on Monday. Welcome back to the Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel. I am Matthew Mason. Today, we are going to dive into everything surrounding Conor Talty, the missed kick against Eastern Illinois, how the fans reacted, and how his teammates are responding to the fans booing him after that missed kick. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and let's dive in. Conor Talty missed his 7th field goal of the year. It was a 28-yarder that doinked off the right upright, and that drew a big reaction from the fans in Bryant-Denny Stadium. A collective boo rained down on Saban Field, and Conor Talty was not exactly received well the next few times that he stepped on the field, because every time he went back out there for an extra point attempt, the fans, mostly toward the student section, were booing him when he came out to attempt a extra point. And then, of course, whenever there was another kicker that got subbed in at some point in the game, the fans just absolutely erupted. It was kind of like a little bit of a sarcastic cheer, I guess, but I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to dive into these reactions from his teammates, but one thing to know is that there's probably not going to be a change for the Iron Bowl. Conor Talty is still going to kick field goals for Alabama going into one of the most important games of the year. It's a game that has playoff implications for Alabama. Conor Talty is still going to be out there kicking field goals, and it's going to be in Jordan-Hare Stadium. So, now that we got that out of the way, we can get to the reactions. Jeremy Bernard went on the next round on Monday morning. He had this to say about the fans booing Conor Talty. It just sucks for the fans to do that. That was really classless. They shouldn't be doing that, man, regardless of whether he's making field goals or not. He's fighting for his teammate. I can appreciate that for one. Always, wanting to just, regardless of how bad it's getting, you want to try to stand up for your teammate. He said something later on in his answer or with the next round where he actually mentioned, saying you never know what somebody's going through, especially like in my opinion, right? I see it from both sides, and I'm going to kind of I hate talking out of both sides of my mouth when it comes to stuff like this, but this is one of those situations where I'm going to do it. First of all, the booing side. I completely get it because it is ridiculous to have a college kicker missing multiple kicks under 30 yards. You got 26-yarder missed, fusses at the long snapper, and then a 28-yarder missed, perfect snap, perfect hold. I understand the frustration, and I think that on the other side now, the side of that's your kicker. That you're booing him before his extra point attempts. Like, are you trying to distract him? I mean, it's already hard enough to make a field goal, and you got people trying to make noise and boo him and distract him before his kicks now. And, of course, I bet whenever he gets down there to Jordan-Hare, they're going to be probably cheering if he walks on the field. Judging how I know most Auburn fans, they're probably going to be delighted to see Conor Talty on the field. And that's just how things are going to work moving forward. Right now, I don't think there is a bigger storyline going into the Iron Bowl than Conor Talty and these missed field goals and the fact that Alabama's season depends on beating Auburn and winning the Iron Bowl and then going to the SEC championship game, and probably will need to win the SEC title to clinch a spot in the playoff for sure. It just seems like everything else that's going on around the program or around the team, it just doesn't matter. If you cannot make a field goal, if it is something that cannot be done, you are not going to make the playoff. It is simple as that. And I understand that people are humans. They make mistakes. But at the end of the day, you're not going to win the Iron Bowl if you cannot kick, and you're not going to be in the SEC championship, and you're not going to be in the playoff if you can't make 26-yard, 28-yard, even just a 30-yard field goal. It's not like he's being asked to drill a 50 or a 60 because they go for it on fourth down or they turn to the punter in those situations. But it's just It's that point. It's that point right now. Cornerback Xavier Brown made sure to voice his opinion on this whole kicking situation whenever he took to his Instagram page and posted a story which said, "If you booed my kicker today, you lame as heck." Obviously got the players, standing up, having his back. Dbor did say in the post-game press conference after the Eastern Illinois game that he wished the fans had Conor Talty's back like the players have. So you know what? I asked a question Monday press conference to Kalen Dbor about that statement, specifically the part about how the players have had his back. Obviously, we've seen, comments on interviews, comments on social media, but I wanted to ask him specifically about how he thinks the players are reacting to Talty's missed field goals, and here is what head coach Kalen Dbor had to say to that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was probably just everyone in general. You're always, you're human, right? And so people are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And then, it's the response and the things that he did. Well, he made it right with his teammates. He talked to them, and that's what we can do. We move on, and we right the wrongs, and now we just focus on what we can do, and that's go be your best. And that's what he does in practice. And again, when I say our guy's got his back, I've seen players, myself have reaction to things that you don't like on the field, off the field, whatever it might be, things we, want back. And once it's done, you don't. All you can do is make sure you communicate, talk to the people that it affected, and continue to move on. And so he had a great week of practice last week. He's still really hitting the ball well, and just going to keep working. And, we're going to need him throughout the rest of the year. And I know he's going to give everything. He cares about this team a lot.
I've seen a lot of people say, stuff about NIL in this world today that, that you ought to be able to criticize these folks however you want. I somewhat agree with that, but how much NIL money do you think a kicker is getting right now? Unless it's a award winner, like the one that Dbor was able to bring in, I believe his name was Graham Nicholson last year. Unless you're bringing in somebody that's hauling in the awards, and you get him in the transfer portal or something, how much money do you think a kicker is getting in NIL? Come on. I would understand the argument when it comes to Ryan Williams, somebody like him being inconsistent, but I don't think that argument fits very well with kickers because they are not by far, they are nowhere close to the top earners on the team. The Iron Bowl is going to be a big one, and I have a feeling that the fans are not exactly hoping for a game-winning field goal situation that involves Conor Talty. Now, the Auburn fans probably are, but Talty has made some kicks this year, and then he's been on kind of a bad string of games as of late as far as the field goal attempts because they've, luckily it was not too important in the Eastern Illinois game, but it was very important in the Oklahoma game. Oklahoma ended up winning by 2 points. So that made field goal right before the half would have been great. I've also noticed that his last few kicks, they've been on the hash marks as far as like the field goal try. He's struggling on the hash marks. It's football. You're not going to have the ball placed exactly in the middle to where you can just line it up perfect. Sometimes the ball is going to be on the hash marks. You're going to have to eventually learn what you got to do to put those kicks through on the hash marks because this year, especially that Georgia game, they put the ball on the right hash mark. He sent it all the way into the concession stands. And then, of course, the Oklahoma game, it was on the left hash mark. That football was no good. The Eastern Illinois game, it was on the right hash mark again, and then he doinked it. So it's a little bit concerning whenever that football is on the hash marks, but, maybe they can try to keep that in mind if the clock warrants them to have to try to kick a field goal to win the game. They can try to get him in the center of the field because getting him near the hash marks has seemed like a disaster as of late. But I would love to know what you guys think about this whole field goal kicking situation. And what do you think about Jeremy Bernard calling the fans classless? Because, hey, there's a lot of Alabama fans that I bet are probably not too happy about that statement. It's going to be better received because it's a guy like Jeremy Bernard who's been one of the best players on the team this year and arguably the reason that they don't have 3 or 4 losses right now. Because without his contributions, especially in that South Carolina game, there might not even be playoff chance right now, or SEC title chance for Alabama heading into this Iron Bowl weekend. So, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Comment if you have any thoughts on today's topic. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Also, check out Touchdown Alabama's website for daily content about the Alabama football team. Subscribe to TDA Plus if you want exclusive content about your Alabama Crimson Tide. And we'll see you next week.